up, C4 World? This your boy is back at it again with another day profile. We ain't seen the boy in a minute. Let me step into the camera. We ain't seen the boy in a minute, but your boy Byron's back to show us what is tier 1 this format. Bro, what? I ain't gonna lie. I ain't playing in like 3 weeks. What you got?
Bro, it's the classic oldie but goodie branded Despia, still the top deck. Honestly, the last format, Yu-Gi-Oh, you can argue it all day. I think branded is the best deck. I have so much fun with it. And getting first place didn't hurt it too much, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, he's been topping in the background, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
We ain't gonna talk about it. We're just gonna go ahead into the profile. So first off, starting with the 3 of Aluber, you know, starts off our combo, sets it all up. That's the guy. We already know he's the best. Better than Alistair at this point.
Bro, you can't be saying that in front of Roscoe.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful.
3-fold of Albaz, super poly on wheels, you know what I'm saying? Perfect normal summon, perfect board breaker. If they have no negates and they have an extra deck monster, that's a free Mirror Jade for you right there. And I think 3 of is better than 2 because in that cashier matchup, when they're banishing all that stuff, they'll banish those 2. But it's real hard for them to banish all 3. We go on with Blazing Cartesia at 2. Honestly, I have the 2 ratio for the same mentality, but this card is amazing. You can get off a fusion deployment. You can use it to protect your Fallen Valbaz. Not Fallen Valbaz. Aluber. Fusion deployment. Get Blazing Cartesia out. Then normal summon your Aluber. If they use Effect Veiler or Imperm, quick effect Blazing Cartesia. Now the effect will still get off the Search Your Branded Fusion. So I definitely like this card. It can unclunk your hand, make some good ass monsters on your opponent's turn. So D-Berry isn't as painful as it used to be. It's got a lot of versatility in it. Going on the 1 of, I play the 1 Bestial Lubellion and the 1 Serenir.
Only one of each.
One of each. Side deck is a little bit more, but as far as the main deck, you really only need the 1 so you can do the place for branded Loss or branded Beast. This is more for the Foolish Burial effect of Serenir, but just a lower Bestial ratio, but it doesn't mean that the Bestials are dead. We just haven't been main decking as many as we used to. But 1 of each I think is mandatory for this build. We go with 2 Mercurier. Honestly, you're using 1 for the Fusion Monster, the new Fusion Monster that came out in Photon Hypernova, or Rydrum the Striking. You need 1 of these guys, and the second one is going to be your negate, because you can lose to Nibiru. This deck can lose to Nibiru, but not if you have this.
How often you see it, bro?
It's searchable, so more often than not, I
Before your 5th summon?
Before my 5th summon. If I have Brandon Lost on the field, I have this card. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think this is a great card. Going after that, we do 1 kit and 1 Albion. Spriggan's kit definitely offers a little bit more versatility in your hands if you don't open a Luber or your branded fusion or your branded opening. This is another way to get into it, and also just a way to also recur back some of those banished spells or traps that you lose, like Retribution. Albion, straightforward, a 1 of guaranteed in a branded deck, one of the best cards in the deck. Being able to send Fallen of Albaz as well as a branded spell to the graveyard for an upstart is pretty nice. Going into the Despia aspect, we have 1 Tragedy, 1 Ad Libitum. Tragedy, obviously, to get that extra searchability. Ad Libitum, honestly, as often as I'm going to Chimera, which is not nearly as often, I do enjoy having Ad Libitum in the deck. Being able to send it off to the new Golganol and being able to just make sure you get that Chimera and that extra recursion is pretty nice. I did miss him for a while there. We do play it. I know you guys hate him. You know you hate to see him.
Is that an ulti?
That is the ulti. Dark Magician. We need him in the deck. We are playing the Dragoon engine, so definitely a must-have, at least 1. Going at spells, Branded Fusion, guaranteed 3 of.
Why not 1, bro? 9 just bullshitting, bro.
Why not one? They're gonna eventually hit it to one. That is my theory. That after Cyberstorm Axis, they're gonna give it a few weeks and hit it to one. But I don't think that that'll hurt the deck nearly as much as people think it will. Opening, obviously, the same reason we have it at 3. We want to see it as much as we can. There was a point I was playing it at 2, but I felt like it was hurting my consistency, so we're back to 3. I think 3 is still good. The one of branded spells. So right here is our interesting little one-ofs for branded. We have Despia the Theater to branded. This field spell is definitely our way into Chimera when we do not use branded in red, and can often just start our combos off without going into necessarily a Luber and getting your impermed, or you can just very easily make a Masquerade and make it so it hurts your opponent when they're trying to interrupt you. Branded Loss, which I'm so ready for a reprint in a higher rarity, is the best card in the deck. Being able to protect your fusions from being negated, and also being able to stop someone from starting chains after fusion monsters or something, is just a crazy effect, you know. You can't get nibbed as long as this branded fusion, branded loss is on the field, and you get a Mercurial in hand. They can't interrupt that fusion line with a Nibiru. They have to wait until after all the fusions have resolved, and then you start the new chain. Then they can Nibiru, and at that point, you already have a Mercurial in hand. So branded loss is just a ridiculously strong card. A lot of people are sleeping on the branded and white, but branded and white can get you Dragoon. Branded and white can get you Chimera. Branded and white allows you to fusion summon by banishing from the graveyard as long as it's fallen to Valbaz. But really, you just need a fusion monster fusion summon only using a dragon. As long as you have a dragon, you can fuse it to anything. So you can get Guardian Chimera, Dragoon. You can get the Albaz monsters. So Branded and white is a really slept on card. And then classic Branded and red, Chimera play. Being able to just add a card back to your hand. Sometimes Chimera is not the best move. Sometimes you just need an extra card in hand. Say you have a Super Poly set, but no hand, nothing in hand to discard it off. You just need that extra card. This is how you do it. Or same thing with Dragoon. Just having that extra card in hand sometimes is better than going into Chimera pulls. As far as traps, we play 3 in the main deck. We have our Retribution, which is mandatory. Just its effect to banish to add a branded spell from the graveyard.
Yeah, that branded fusion
is super nice. Having 5 different ways to get branded fusion in hand is always viable. Also, the negate effect as a counter trap is pretty good. Often slept on, but pretty good. Branded Banishment. Super Power Position has won me a lot of games. And a Super Poly that banishes while also putting another body on the field is pretty nice. Being able to target, someone gets rid of your Mirror Jade, but I can bring it back, and then Super Poly using just their board or using my board. Say I have a Luber on the field still, and another Dark Monster the opponent has. That's another Masquerade, but I still have Mirror Jade. Just be able to put those amount of bodies in that interruption. Branded Banishment is a great card. And I still play Branded Beast for back row hate. Just a simple pop, you know. Nothing wrong with that. I can out skill drain, so main deck out for skill.
No one plays skill drain.
Don't you play skill drain?
The ABC player, we got to play skill drain. ABC player.
As far as board breakers, best card in the game, Super Polymerization. I really want those higher rarities, but I think the 3 of is perfect. Really slept on matchup that I didn't expect it to come out in was Trap Tricks. Being able to get rid of their Trap Tricks monsters into a Garura or a Mud Dragon, just them not having names, was really painful to them in these matchups. And then same thing can go with Kashtira, same thing with the mirror match. Like, Super Poly is just a really good card. Not being able to interrupt it is great. After that, it's Book of Eclipse. Ash Bait, because sometimes they would rather Ash this than Ash a Brand of Fusion, which is hilarious to me, but some people will do it. And if they don't, even still, being able to flip all that face down and get that board out the way, it's very nice. Cash tiers don't stand a chance. Afterwards, we have Fusion Deployment. Fusion Deployment.
And the side?
This is the main deck.
Oh,
This is
okay,
the main
okay.
deck. This is the main deck. Fusion Deployment is an amazing card. Fall to Valbaz, Blazing Cartesian. You can get to either one with one card, and this is amazing. Being able to play around this being your normal summon, just being able not to require your normal summon to Super Poly, or to get into that Blazing Cartesian Gogonol combo, or even just being able to get an extra body on field. It's just nice. I love Fusion Deployment. Being able to play it at 3, you should play it at 3. And then we have the one Foolish for that extra consistency.
How many cards in the main, bro?
That is 40. That is
40?
actually 40.
That
Boy, that's more than 40.
No, I promise.
Don't count it. It's okay. We believe you.
I promise you.
Hey, we'll put it in the comments if it's actually 40 or not.
Yeah. In the extra deck, we have 2 Mirror Jade, awesome boss monster, guaranteed. We play the 2 Albion. I think 3 is too much. I think 1 is too little, so 2 is perfect. Right now we play the Titaniclad, the Lubellion, and the Rhydrum at 1.
wasn't everybody taking out Titaniclads for the other guy?
So our loss, I feel like, is not viable in this format because we're not playing a lot of Dragon Link decks. But Titaniclad has a lot of fusion targets that it can be used. And the fact that if it's sent to the graveyard can still special summon Fall of Albaz give us a lot of versatility. And also, it has an effect that says, if after this card is fusion summoned for the rest of the turn, it is unaffected by the activated effects of any other monster special summoned from the extra deck. So this monster actually has protection against Mirror Jade's effect, with Arise Heart's effect. So it has a lot of extra protection and being able to get the plus on attack. So being able to make a 37 body that can punch through Mirror Jade but not be destroyed by it is a pretty nice one. Lubellion, you need in the deck. I was thinking about playing it at 2. I've cut it to 1 and it didn't hurt nearly as much as I thought it would, being able to play through it. But I could see people playing it at 2. If it was going to be anything, it would be these 2 that would be the 2 Lubellions, or Titaniclad and Lubellion. But I really like Titaniclad. It actually came up more than once. Rhydrum. Going into Rhydrum, it is an awesome card. Being able to negate and return to hand is really good. Being able to negate your own Mirror Jade so you can use it twice but still send for cost is pretty dope. But another effect that people do not realize is that on the opponent's turn, if him and Fallen of Albaz are in the graveyard, you can bring back him or Fallen of Albaz. So you can essentially Super Poly on the opponent's turn at any point as long as he's in the graveyard for a quick effect, which is very nice.
That's like a pure Super Poly.
Pure Super Poly. There's
15 copies of Super Poly.
Alright. We have, as far as Despia stuff, Despia and Proskinia, Golganol, and Masquerade. Just combo decks end up getting hurt a lot by Masquerade, and Masquerade is great for time. Masquerade is just a great card. Tax Dragon, pay me my 600. I love this card. It's probably one of my favorite cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. Our new monster, Golganol, the Dust Dragon, offers so much advantage.
Because you do too much.
Being able to Foolish Burial a level 6 or higher light or dark from your extra deck and or deck gives you a lot of opportunities to put a piece that you need. Being able to send the Serenir or the Bestial Lubellion or your Albion, or even something more tech choice like a Gimmick Puppet Nightmare is very nice. And if all else fails, you send a Fallen of Albaz fusion monster and get that end phase effect. And it's a quick effect to swap out for a Despian from your extra deck or a Dogmatica from your deck, which is why Proskinia is in here. Super Poly definitely makes it more viable to get into, but being able to easily swap into a 32 body that can interrupt your opponent is super dope. More often than not, you can win games as long as you bring him out. After that, we play 2 copies of Dragoon, the bad boy himself. Dragoon is ridiculous, powerful card. I mean, people were talking about banning it a little while back. I'm so glad they did it because it makes my deck viable and being able to play against Cash. Being able to destroy a card on the field, inflict damage, and then negate and gain attack. This is just stupid, and playing it at 2 is necessary just because of Cash turn matchup. They're gonna rip them. If you only have 1, that's what they're going for, so you might as well have 2. No, you can't. I know you can. No, you can't. Super poly targets are going to be Mud Dragon, Garura, and Despia. A given mandatory. That negate is awesome, and as long as he's on the field and counters exist, those are all negated. So don't forget that. Don't just think because he left the field, the counter is gone. If he leaves the field, the counter still remains. There's still level 1s. And if you can bring him back with, say, Branded Banishment or your Despia Theater's effect, they will be negated again. So just keep that in mind. Garura, super poly target. The battle damage effect is actually something I always forget, and so I have to remember, and it's pretty nice to be able to inflict double damage when you attack over a monster is dope, and 24 defense is not something that a lot of people can easily get over with a weaker board, and Branded makes it so that it's hard for people to put up strong boards. Mud Dragon of the Swamp, great. I mean, again, this is what won me essentially today against Trap Tricks, which are a really dangerous deck right now. Being able to fuse off their plants and insect monsters with ease comes in a lot. And then finally, of course, our boy himself, Guardian Chimera. Just a god card. I still haven't picked up my collector's rare, but it's incoming. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get the max rarity for this deck. That's as far as extra deck goes. For side deck, shout out to the tokens. We got our tokens. Secret rare.
What if we get that?
Alubra Dogmatic tokens. If you want to get them, look on eBay. I don't know. I had to get this the hard way. We're playing the 3 Nibiru. Obviously Nibiru is one of the best hand traps in the format right now. A lot of people can't play through it or have to play under it. Troll and Lockbird. I love this card, hate this card. I hate seeing it against me, but I love using it against people because it really just slows them down, and Branded is one of those decks that has a lot of gas, so if you can slow your opponent down, you can usually outpace them. We go into Evenly Match. Pretty standard for any side deck, I think. Just be able to board break like that, going second. We do play 1 Baldric, another Serenir, and Bestial Druid's Worm. There's a lot of Heroes players in my locals, so I definitely think that it's nice to be able to interrupt them with some of these. And even still, Bestials just have a lot of power when you're dealing with any deck that's light or dark. So in the Branded matchup, you can get a lot of advantage playing against them with these Bestials. Finally, we have the back row hate with our Harvest Feather Duster. Pretty straightforward. And then the Everyone Hates Us cards, Branded Expulsion and Gimmick Puppet Nightmare. For those who are not aware of how this card works, Gimmick Puppet Nightmare says, like, special summon this card's hand by triggering 1 face-up monster. You can only special summon Gimmick Puppet monsters once per turn this way. When you do, you can only special summon 1 Gimmick Puppet Nightmare from your hand graveyard. And this card is special summoned. You cannot special summon any monster for the rest of the turn except Gimmick Puppet monsters. So that last effect is the most important, because that means even if they get rid of it, like Raw's Disciple, they get rid of Raw's Disciple, they can play through that. They get rid of Ibli, they can play through that. Idol, they can play through that. If you get rid of Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, it does not matter. For the rest of the turn, because it resolved its summon, you cannot special summon anything besides Gimmick Puppets, which I don't think anyone's playing.
I'm gonna play him now.
You should.
I got number 40.
You got number 40?
Yeah.
So how you gonna get there?
All right.
Anyways, Brand Expulsion is a great card, even if you don't decide to use the Gimmick Puppet. Being able to summon a Blazing Cartesia or a Fallen of Albaz on the opponent's turn grants a lot of advantage to you. So just keep that in mind. I've seen a couple of builds that main deck this and don't main deck that, but still main deck this card. So I think the branded deck, it still has a lot going for it. It has a little bit of what I call too much sauce, where you have a lot of cards going around and a lot of opportunity to kind of take it the way you want to. So there's no one way to play branded, kind of like Caster has one way to play, or when Tyranid Caesar had one way to play. People can kind of really mess around with this deck and play the way they want to. Do you play Frightfurt Packwork? Do you play the Dracoon Engine? Do you play Beast Deals? You know, there's just a lot of options for it. But this is the one that topped me this week, so I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate your deck profile, bro. You're still the highest deck profile we got, bro.
I appreciate y'all. You know, C4 is an amazing team.
Hey, man, you know what? Shut up.
Nah, my hair messed up, bro. My hair messed up. Hey, I apologize.
Hey, Chris, put it up one time. You already know what's going
My
on.
bad, I got the what's it called? The tripod. I forgot.
So the video was a little shaky because of him, but hey, we appreciate y'all, but peace.